Got inside South Dakota's most dangerous hoods, Tommy G reaction video. Let's get into it, see what it's hitting for.
Rapid City police are on the lookout for several suspects following 5 shootings in the last week.
In the last few years, the Rapid City Police Department has seen an uptick in violent crimes.
Dude basically said, hey, I'm coming back. I'm shooting up this whole show. I had to pick my brother up after he got shot, you know?
I never planned to be 50 years old ever. I thought I would be passed away way before that, you know.
My daughter, supposedly she was accidentally shot by another guy there with a gun.
At first, you might guess that South Dakota is a very safe place, and that's up for debate. Nationally, it's actually ranked somewhere in the middle, and it's more dangerous than states like Kentucky, Florida, and Illinois. Now, for most South Dakota citizens, it is reasonably safe, but if you are a Native American man, it's a different story altogether. You see, Rapid City is South Dakota's most dangerous city, and Pine Ridge is the most dangerous reservation. And together, these two share kind of a strange relationship. It's kind of like Chicago and Rockford, where you have gangsters going back and forth to flee from the law. And in Rapid City, shooting has been on the rise, and most of it is tied to native gang activity. And here's another interesting fact about South Dakota. It is arguably the most incarcerated state.
With an incarceration rate of 812 per 100,000 residents, South Dakota locks up a higher percentage of its people than any independent democratic country on earth. Wow.
In the country. Some estimates say that up to 7 out of 10 Native men will serve at least once in jail or prison. And although Natives make up only 9% of the state population, they make up nearly half of the prison and jail.
In South Dakota, the people who are arrested and admitted to jail are disproportionately native. Although natives make up 8.7% of South Dakota's population, they are roughly half of those booked into jails in the state. Racial disparities in incarceration rates exist nationwide. Black people are jailed at more than 4 times in the rate of white people, and disparities in South Dakota are far greater. According to the data from the Vera Institute of Justice, natives between the ages of 15 and 64 are incarcerated at 10 times the rate of white people in South Dakota. Wow. So black people are jailed 4 times the rate of white people just in the whole country. But in just the state of South Dakota, Native Americans from the age of 15 to 64 are incarcerated at a 10 times rate of any white person living in South Dakota. And they make up 8.7% of the South Dakota's population. It just shows you how much tension and how much care that the government has for the poverty-stricken areas of different states and different cities, right? Like you see it in New York, you see it in, Chicago, see it in LA. There's a bunch of landlords and property owners by the state that do the bare minimum to keep, things revamped, keep things from breaking. Like there's people who's had radiators caught on fire, people whose stoves, caught on fire from electric electric malfunction from the port. There's people in New York whose buildings are literally coming apart off the hinges, the brakes, the bricks and stuff are coming off because of the fact that these property owners or the city just don't do the actual things that they need to be done for these for these low income housing areas or plots of land that was given to these people to do better and see better. Like these Native Americans have terrible water system, no type of irrigation system so they can start planting foods and crops for the area. They're given terrible land, so even if they wanted to plant like food and like they literally can't do it. They have to literally take generations and generations of Native Americans in that community to rehydrate, resoil the land, and refertilize that land that they want to use to plant and crop, which literally, like I said, takes generations because you got to think about all the fumes that were put into it, everything. Like it takes a long time for that to get built.
male population. To investigate this further, we head to Rapid City and we dig into the trends of violence and incarceration. We meet with guys like Eric, a man who has served decades in prison and now is out advocating to stop the cycle. Vinny, a local rapper whose brother was killed at one of his recent shows. And of course, to really get into the mud, we make a stop at a local trap house. Join us as we go boots on the ground in South Dakota. Quick announcement, folks. New shirt dropped on the site. Low key in the front, big dogs gotta eat, and busy in the back. If you want to be one of the first to get your hands on this shirt, link is in the description, and rep the channel. And now, back to the video. When I see these young men, I see potential in them. I see something that they could become, and I see the gang lifestyle is mostly just taken away from what they could become. What needs to happen for kids that grow up in an area like this to say, I want to be an engineer or a doctor, or I want to run my own landscaping business, rather than I want to shoot somebody that's a lot like me that just happens to live in a slightly different part of my neighborhood? I don't know if we'll ever find that answer, but that's part of the discovery that we're on this channel. We're going to dive into the most dangerous city in South Dakota. Buckle up, it's gonna be a ride. Tell us where we are right now.
We in Dakota Homes right now, this deep north, you know what I'm saying? Deep north side. It's a little dilapidated, etc., but there's a lot of love in the area, you know what I'm saying?
This ghetto is part of town right here, man.
Yeah?
It's own little world over here, you know? Because it's like, even though we're so close to everything else, you can go right down the street and see business districts and shit like that. It's its own entity over here, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, so what goes down around here?
Drugs, you know what I'm saying? A lot of, and the dealings that come with that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? As far as robberies, as far as, you know what I'm saying, killings over a little bullshit, you know, an ounce of weed and shit like that, you know what I'm saying? Somebody die over it, so it's like.
Do you guys know someone that have died over an ounce of weed?
There's a quad, bro.
Yes.
Over an ounce of weed?
7 grams.
It wasn't even an
grams,
ounce, it was a couple.
A quad,
it was
dude?
like 5
You guys
Yeah.
call it a quad around here?
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked up many of quads in my day. Never have I ever thought about I was gonna die over it.
Dude didn't expect that night either, you know what I'm saying? I went to prison for possession of marijuana. It was my first charge I've ever caught in my life. The judge was just a little hard on me, you know?
How long did you serve for marijuana?
He gave me 6 years and suspended 5 of it. So I only
6 years?
Yes, for possession of marijuana.
How much marijuana are we talking?
It was a pound, you know what I'm saying? So my charge was possession of 1 to 10 pounds. So it didn't matter if I had 1 pound or 9.5.
Was that technically a felony then?
Yes, it is. At the time, that was a different time of my life, and I was, you know, playing loud music.
I ain't even gonna lie. He said it like it was gonna be like something small, like he had an ounce or like half ounce or something like that. Bro had a whole pea on him. Thinking that yeah, it'll be calm. Like yeah, of course you'll get like a year to 5 years.
Drinking, driving, doing the most, you know, being sloppy with it.
So you got pulled over in a DWI type of situation, and then they searched the car for weed?
They smelled weed immediately. I just, like I said,
Were you chiefing it big time?
Yeah, okay. I was smoking when they pulled me over. I try to play it off. I try to give them my blunt piece and be like, this all I have, sir, you know? They weren't going for that though, so.
Did that seem absurd that you could be put in a cage for weed?
Yes, sir. Dude, it changed the course of my life. You know, I had a very practical outlook on life in general. I was a real normal kid. I played sports. I wanted to be a nurse. You know, so it's like that.
Can you no longer work for a hospital now?
No, I couldn't get a job in Walmart once I got out of prison.
You can't even get a job in Walmart?
No, I was trying to show my little brother a different way. You know, like the lifestyle that we had got into, it was based off circumstance. And that's my history in Rapid City, essentially. A lot of people know me out here for like sports and stuff, but like
What'd you play?
I played football, basketball, I ran track, you know.
We head next to I Am Legacy, an organization focused on empowering Native people and helping ex-cons rebuild their lives. Founder Eric Brainswhite invited us to a roundtable discussion led by former inmates to tackle the tough issue of incarceration among Native men.
Like, you can't tell by looking at me or anything, you know, but I used to do the gang thing. And
if I was a Hollywood movie director looking for the role of like scary guy in the cell, you'd be like, oh, this is the guy we want, for sure.
Yeah. I left everything I've ever known in my life that I was good at and entered a life where I didn't know anything. I changed. Yeah, I never planned to be 50 years old ever. I thought I would be, you know, pass away way before that, you know. The younger you experience these violent things, it increases the likelihood of you repeating them in this community. That's why we focus on the youth. One of the things that to help these guys, you know, kind of redirect their their aggression a little bit.
Yeah.
So you come in here, tire them out a little bit, put them on the weight, healthy choices, healthy options. We also do drug court. This is where we offer AA, NA, things like that in here. And we know about that life. We've been there. That's why we care. And there is a way out. We found it. And that's all we're trying to show these young brothers.
I see your shirt, Healing with Conviction. What does that mean to you?
That I'm coming with the truth. You know, I've lived it, been there, done that, and went through a lot of the struggles here. So I'm trying to heal with that conviction, and also with me being incarcerated as well. I was 18 years old. I shot at some people here in town, and at age 18, I was sentenced to 12 years in the South Dakota State Penitentiary. They shot at my family. Drove around, looked for them, found them, and 4th of July, 1996, I retaliated.
You have the most gangster Hello Kitty tattoo I think I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, so I have.
Tell me.
I mean, like, this kind of what it needs to be, but there's a lot more. There's a lot more OGs, right? There's a lot more originals. I'll say there's a lot more originals actually in the hood that keep pushing these kids than OGs that are not pushing these kids. You guys, like, you get what I mean? Like, there's a lot of, like, we see a lot of community groups of original people from that area that try to push these kids into better directions, and they do get a good amount of kids that actually want to be pushed into a good direction. But they're for the 5 grown adults that want to actually push these kids, there's 10 grown adults that are telling these kids something completely different from them. You know what I mean? Like, like they said, like every 5, like, you know what I mean? Like they said, there's could always be, like, I mean, bad cops, right? There's 5 bad cops, but for every 5 bad cops, it's gonna be like 10 good cops, right? Or, you know what I mean? For every 5 good cops, there might be 10 bad cops, depending on where you live and what area you live in. But as you see here, there's a good amount of not young, but it's a good amount of adults, right? There's 5 of them, 4 of them sitting around the table actually deciding what they want to do, right? They got counseling, they got workout groups, they got everything that they could do to kind of guide these kids, right? These kids are feeling anger, they're feeling like they're not heard, bro. They can go there, they can go to the gym for free. Like, you know what I mean? It's probably not a membership. If you from the res, like, you can go there any time of day. You just, you know what I mean? Like, you want to work out, go work out, push the bench, tire out. You know what I mean? If you don't want to go home, they'll probably let you sleep there so you can wake up in the morning and get right back to work and, you know what I mean, tire yourself out again. If you need someone to talk to, you know what I mean, whether it's kids your age or someone one-on-one, they got those type of programs there. And it's like you see it there. They want to help. They want to guide these kids better. But at the same time, there's so many adults out there in the actual res that the kids see day to day after they leave this community center that are telling them something different.
About that?
So I have a special needs daughter.
Okay.
So a lot of this is for her, you know. So, like, I have the wheelchair there for her. She loves Mickey Mouse. The don't count the days, make the days count. When we found out that she has a rare brain disorder, they told us she wouldn't see her first birthday. So we marked the date when we were told that. And
that was in 2011.
Yeah, grateful today she's 13. My first son, I wasn't there.
God bless. God bless.
I missed his birth, and just wasn't in the relationship, there. And we meet my wife, and with Alejandra, our daughter with special needs, I learned to embrace that, I needed to fully protect her. For me, quitting drinking is what helped, to be able to get up if she's having seizures, to be able to get up, at a drop of a hat, to assist her or assist my wife in her cares.
For me, it was the murder of my brother. He was down there at the Teddy Sports Bar and he was shot and killed. Calling me and asking me to come hang out with him at the bar, and I went down there to go see what he was doing. And as I was walking towards him, I heard a gunshot go off, and then my cousins told me it was my brother, my little brother.
Victim of Sunday morning shooting at Rapid City bar identified. Rapid City, San Diego. Rapid City, South Dakota. The victim of the shooting at Teddy Sports Grill and Nightclub early Sunday morning has been identified. Police say it was 30-year-old Dallas Quick Bear of Rapid City, was shot inside the Sports Grill and Nightclub, later pronounced deceased after taken to the hospital. A candlelight vigil was held on Sunday night by the family and friends of Quick Bear. Law enforcement still does not have a suspect in custody, and the case is still considered active. More information will be provided on News Center 1 as they become available. Rest in peace to your brother Dallas, man. The rest in peace.
It's just ever since then, after the past 3 years, I've just been getting incarcerated in and out of jail. I'm using my past as a tool to help better these children. Adults can't teach old dogly tricks, but we can save these kids. And by saving these kids, we can save this community.
Did about 18 years in prison.
That's a long time.
Where I grew up, Dakota homes, in the hood out here, it was kind of almost like an expectation at some point. You know, hey, you might end up going to prison. You know, from our neighborhood is drug and alcohol related. Every single felony, every single charge.
So non-violent offender?
Non-violent, all non-violent. I'm a 9-time felon.
What brings you here?
I'm the youth navigator now.
How'd you get here though?
In 6th grade, I got in some trouble at school. You know, Eric used to be the diversion coordinator here in Pennington County, so I was his first ever youth to go to Legacy.
What did you get into as a 6th grader?
A fight. This little kid called me a name, and I have gay uncles. It was a gay slur.
I think I can guess what you're thinking of.
Yeah, and I reached in my locker to grab my backpack, and he slammed the locker door closed on my hand. I reached up with my left hand and I slammed his face against the locker, and I grabbed him up by his backpack straps and threw him across the hallway. I started kicking him while he was on the ground, and that's how I met Eric, and I've been coming back ever since. I was like 11 or 12.
Now he's 16.
And that's what it needs, bro. That's what it needs. All right, you got to get more of these people that are from the community into the schools, because that little police officer, that resource officer, that guidance counselor, you think, bro, they're not going to be able to understand these kids in certain situations in certain areas. So you got to get people from the neighborhood, from the area that these kids are from, and make sure that they understand that, hey, I was involved in this once when I was your age too, and this doesn't end well. You know what I mean? Give them a sense of guidance, man. These probably kids that still have fathers that are still locked up. You know what I mean? Bro said he served 18 years. That was back in, like, you know what I mean, the 2000s, 90s, right? There's probably kids' fathers that are probably still locked up, you know what I mean, today, doing 20 years, 18 years, 15 years, 10 years. You know what I mean? It's just those little things that you got a nice male role model that is gonna really guide you.
Good to meet you. Good to meet you. Hey, bro. What's happening, bro? Hey, man. What's up, man?
How you doing, man?
All right.
It's good to see you, man.
Hell yeah. Yeah, we Legacy. We're deep up there, the homies.
Yeah.
We
I
got
respect that.
everybody from every clique in town.
I respect that for sure, because there's a lot of people that, you know what I'm saying, older folks that lead the youth astray.
I feel you, bro.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like they don't know no better when they're that young.
Nah,
like,
man.
we grow up in the shit we see, like, we think it's normal, you feel me? Then you grow up and you have your own mind now, and it's
you know
like,
what? I want you guys to know how important you are to our people, man.
Word.
We don't need you wasting your lives on dumb shit, man.
Word.
You know what I mean? Don't get caught up doing dumb shit, man. But statistics say,
Put your time into that.
absolutely, man.
Yes, sir.
Right there.
Yeah,
Right there, man.
What does that mean?
For your sacrifice.
Hey, tell them what it means.
Tell them what that means.
No, it's from Sundance.
Ceremony,
Ceremony.
bro.
Oh, where you put the
Piercing.
Yep.
Sundance ceremony is basically a women appreciation ceremony. We're showing appreciation to the women, because the women get their blood every month in that Queens of Slate. That's our way of cleaning slate. Even going into EDP stands for a sweat lodge. You go in there and pray. You're going in there to be cleansed, you know, cleanse what you be doing out here. You know, all those gangs and drugs out here, because there's not much opportunities for youth out here.
That is another
Picture
factor.
you, bro.
Oh, this is my little brother.
Is it?
He passed away in 2022.
I heard about that, bro.
Yeah,
Sorry,
man. He passed away in 2022 due to gun violence. That was our first show we ever were gonna have in Eagle Butte. It was gonna be a great turnout, you know. There was nothing but unchies and kids out there. There's free food, you know. Like, you never really see like 50 people out there for the openers, but that first person I was out there, there's like 50 plus people showing love, you know. We were gonna go on last, and there was a boy that was threatening to shoot the show months before, and we didn't really take it serious, you know. We didn't even reply to his threats or anything like that, but it came down to the day of the show, 90-degree weather, and he's in the crowd with the same bag on that he's showing his gun on Snapchat every day, and with a mask on in 90-degree weather, you know? So I came and I tried to speak with him because I know what he was saying. And when I came and tried to talk to him, he got real abrasive and was like, why are you trying to check me? Get away from me, boom. And I'm like, look, man, and I grabbed his bag and I pulled it to me. I felt his gun and I said, what are you doing here? Why are you here? But he's like, just get off me, get away from my bag. I don't want to freak everybody out and be like, hey, he got a gun. Yeah. So whenever the security comes up to me, I say, hey man, he has a gun. He's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I felt it. So he tried to escort dude away. Dude basically said, hey, I'm coming back. I'm shooting up this whole show. I look around, like I said, there's nothing but elders and kids, you know? My family's come all the way from Colorado to come see us. I'm like, we gotta do something. And that's what the dude asked. He's like, please stop him. There's police around there and everything. The police didn't do shit. I had to pick my brother up after he got shot, you know? That's another just testament as far as to where we don't really rely on the police, you know? That's vigilantes. Like the definition of a vigilante is somebody that gets justice by their own means, but while not involved in the law. And it's that bottom line that they don't look out for us. They say they're supposed to protect and serve. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, when my brother got killed, I had to pick him up. I had to everything, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
You need to come see us, man, because I got some opportunities for you, man.
Yeah?
Hey, I lost my little brother, too. He got shot and killed down at the Teddy Sports Bar.
Oh, word. Hey, bro.
Yeah,
hey, rest his soul, bro. That's what I'm saying. That shit like that rocks the city.
Hey, this happened to every generation, though. When I was a youngster, my best homie got shot in the face at my house right up the hill right here, man.
Word.
In the hood, you know, it changed us forever, man.
So police will come through here, etc., but they're not too quick to. It's in a suburban area on the west side or something. Something goes down, they're there like that.
Why do you think that is?
But obviously, like, you see the community in it. Obviously, you see the people actually want to be there for the youth and there for the kids, right? But as much as I'm not trying to, you know what I mean, display what Vinny is saying, because what Vinny is saying is 100% true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, his brother, like, everything, his pain is 100% valid. You feel what I'm saying? It's just every single time the originals, right, are trying to say something, is always something back from us young kids, right? And I fall fault to that too. You know what I mean? Like, whenever, you know what I mean, the original tries to tell someone something different, right? It's always, we got something back to say of reason why we're doing this, the reason why all these things trickle down. Where the OGs are just trying to show us the answers, right? Where one of the bros says, what's his name? I forgot his name. But one of the originals said, yo, I got a job for you. I got an idea for you. I got something we could do for these kids, because you are part of the younger generation who's maybe still in it but lived it, right? So you being a rapper, you being, you know what I mean, a form of an entertainer can help these kids more, because, you know what I mean, we seen music do a lot of good things for people in the hood, in the ghetto, in the trenches, whatever. So whether that artist wants to rap about the guns and the killing, whether that artist wants to rap about hard times and the pain and the trauma that being in the res, whether that artist wants, you know what I mean, like, you actually give that balance to it. Like, you actually give criticism. Like, you can get a group of kids that want to be musicians or want to learn music and have, like, you know what I mean, little classes for them, and just sit down with the kids. Because the same way, like, you lost your little brother, another kid could lose his little brother, another kid could lose his little brother, another kid could lose his older brother. And it, you know what I mean, it trickles all down to that.
Because we're disposable.
You know what I'm saying?
All we get is each other.
Is it Rapid City PD or a native police that is in this area?
Rapid City,
there ain't no
RCPD.
natives on the RP.
There's no natives on the Rapid City Police Force? What percentage of the city is native?
At least a quarter.
Yeah.
You can't be in the position where someone abuses it with their power, and you can't be in the position where you abuse someone with the power that you're given, because you can be kind but never try to be submissive, and you can be strong but you can never be cruel.
We have a present for you, Vinny. Big dog's gotta eat.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, yes, sir. Welcome to my gang, you know what I mean?
Hey, yes, sir. I was born with, but that's another story for the poor kids who always wanted some Jordans. Mamas couldn't afford them. Now they out there on the corner with drama from law enforcement. I can tell you about the horrors of wishing you was aborted. But since this life is a game, you ain't finna see me forfeit. I'm winning till I can't play, but even then I be scoring. There's some shit that's more important than them hoes that's gonna be swarming once they find out you recorded. Where are them hoes before then, huh?
We're coming up to a grief meeting for moms that have lost sons to the street, I presume. This is gonna be kind of a tough conversation. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
How are you doing?
Good.
So we're covering sort of the streets, the gang life, and also just gun violence at a young age. What have you seen as a mom in Rapid City?
I've seen a lot of violence and a lot of killings. Not so much when I was growing up. There was, you know, here and there, nothing like today.
You think it's worse now?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
There was.
Wow. Just nationally, South Dakota, Rapid City. The numbers just keep going on and on and on.
There wasn't as much guns back when we were growing up at all. You know, everybody has a gun these days.
Are the guns in South Dakota in the hood, are a lot of them legal or illegal guns? You guys know?
Illegal.
About a good 50-50.
Both.
Yeah, well now they've made it easier to get guns, so, you know, both, yeah, I would say.
I guess, so what, are there any stories that can illustrate, you know, what you've seen or what you've heard in the area that talk about gun violence and things
both
like
of my children died from a gun. My son always had a gun. My older son, he always carried a gun. He's not anymore. He's 31 and a dad now.
What brought him out of the gang life?
His kids.
Now, gangs can be really attractive for a young man, right? Why do you think that is? And do you think it actually brings any benefit to their life?
I have my oldest son who I kept in every sport available. He didn't have time to do any of that stuff. But as soon as he hit high school, and that attraction was just immediate. You know, he started then missing school and then running and getting in trouble. Whereas with CJ, he was kind of, you know, I moved to Mitchell, moved all my kids there. They gradually came back here. They didn't like it there. So he was around it all the time. And to me, it seems like he kind of just, you know, he still got in his fights and ran around, but, you know, he wasn't kept from it like I did with my older son. And I feel like he kind of, you know, kept himself out of trouble, although, you know, ultimately he died from suicide. And then also my daughter, you know, I probably never know the real true story there, but you know, supposedly she was accidentally shot by another guy there with a gun.
I feel like teenagers, when they want to get into trouble, they find a way to do it.
Right.
Even if you have strict parents. I know firsthand, I had the strict parents of my friend group, and we still found ways to get into trouble. But do you think gangs offer anything positive? Because to me, when I look at it, it just seems like when you sign up for that lifestyle, you're pretty much signing up for incarceration or death, or you might be rich at certain points when you make a play, but for the most part, you're going to keep losing that and have setbacks. Did you think it brought anything positive to your son's life?
No, and he had a good home life. You know, he had me. He didn't actually have his biological father in his life much, but once I got married, he had, you know, stepdad, and he did not have a family home life.
I know, like if you ask like hardcore Republicans, they'll say like the reason gangs happen is the absence of fathers in the household. What do you think about that?
Well, I was lucky enough to have a dad. Like I said, my older kids, their dad was never really around. I know it makes a difference, obviously, but it seems just to be so common now that I don't think most of us that have grown up on the north side really give it much of a thought. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else.
It just become kind of normal and ingrained. Yeah. There's a lot of young men, some of them with shiesties on. What kind of advice would you give to them as they're pursuing some of their options in life?
Well, you know, and I've gotten to have a lot of good relationships with a lot of my kids as their friends since they passed away. I see things a lot differently now. I mean, I would give anything to have my kids back, and, you know, obviously I would never wish this on anybody, but I do think it's humbled me in a way that I can relate to them more. I understand them more. I think a lot of them feel comfortable talking to me, and I think they, you know, feel better talking with me just because they feel closer to CJ, because my son, you know, I had a lot of friends, and I would just, you know, tell them to set an example for my kids that are here, and let them see what they can do with themselves, you know, because that would make them very proud.
Is there high poverty rates in Rapid City?
Yes, definitely.
High. Okay. Because I think that's one of the magic questions. How do you bring economic opportunities back to an area like this? We've had so many jobs in this country go overseas and never come back. So like to me, that's the thing, is like, how do you reverse the wheel that is spinning?
I think Kenny is a good one for this question. He owns this business and he's hired several people, and he might have some input on that just because he's given people multiple chances and still does.
I was, I guess, one of the lucky ones Out of the whole group of guys I was with, I mean, I was considered one of the original TBC guys. And
that's one of the most notorious gangs in the north side?
Yeah.
TBZ is slang for the boys, and this is the name of one of the most feared native gangs in the country. And with roots that run deep in South Dakota and Minnesota, TBZ has both power in the streets and the penitentiary. Captain Tony Harrison, chief investigator for Pennington County Sheriff's Office in Rapid City, says that he has seen photos of toddlers dressed in gang attire and that it's not uncommon to see boys as young as 8 and 10 throwing up gang signs. Eric and Kenny were among the founding members of TBZ decades ago, but against all odds, both are now leading lives that give back, and they use their lessons of their dark past to try and create a hopeful future for the youth.
So you got, yeah. So you got my brother, and there were several of us. It started out with like over a dozen of us. Out of all of, I mean, almost every one of them went to prison but me.
How did you avoid prison?
Well, I think, you know, one of the things that stuck in my head around that time was my mom. My mom started going to meetings. She started going to AA meetings. And at that time, I used to look at her like, oh man, she must be really messed up. She's got to go to meetings. She's got to do extra things to stay sober. And my whole thing was backwards that was when I was in my drinking.
Sorry, I just seen a fly past my house. Not my. I just seen a fly. I just seen a fly past my face, and it freaked me out. I'm sorry.
In time too, and for me it was like that was one of the things I came back to when I did sober up, and it was getting in a relationship at that time that helped me kind of come out of that rut, and then kids. That was the other thing. And that kind of opened my eyes up to my drinking and my drugging. And one thing led to another. And next thing you know, I've been doing this for over 30 years. And that's what keeps me motivated, is my work. And throughout all that whole time, I've stumbled a few times. I went back out there and tried it again. That lasted a short time. But I knew what was better at that time. I guess that's the core of it for me, is getting some kind of a structure in your life to go to, your positive. And for me, it's meetings, my business, my relationships. You know, today it's better, but it took me a long time to get to this point.
It's amazing how many times it can take doing the same shit over and over to learn the lesson properly.
Yeah.
Looking for connections to Dallas sex trafficking and Dallas animal smuggling. Okay, I thought he had a little bit more things to go, but okay. Man, shout out to Tommy G for making this video. Like he says, he always just shows you that, you know what I mean, there's dangers, poverty, you know what I mean, every city, every state, every country. There's always going to be something worse than what you think is worse than your area. You're always going to be like, oh, this hood, this city in my state is so terrible, bro. I would never go there. And there's always going to be someplace worse statistics, worse crime rate, just everything about it is just completely worse. And it's just something that takes generations and generations to change. It doesn't stop with just a few people from the area that lost some deads. It starts with everybody in the community that lost someone. So it starts with the mothers grouping up, starts with the fathers actually supporting each other, not because, oh, you was this gang back in the day, this gang back in the day, you still got your tattoos, da da da. You know what I mean? I can't mess with you. I don't want my wife around your wife, and da da da. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like you gotta have all the original dads or whatever, the people, original fathers, dads. You know what I mean? Guys. You know what I mean? From the area, start really linking up with each other, start really congregating with each other. You know what I mean? Whether it's making peace with each other or not, y'all gotta start. You know what I mean? Talking with each other. The moms are still talking to each other. You gotta bring the kids together. You know what I mean? Whether it's doing more festivals, doing more carnivals, doing more whatever, you know what I mean? Just doing things simple, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this weekend, you know what I mean? If anybody's not doing nothing, we're gonna throw a little dance party at the park. You know what I mean? Winner gets a couple $100 or whatever. You know what I mean? Winner gets $200 or something like that. You know what I mean? You get a couple people put $200. You know what I mean? Oh, we're gonna do bingo too. You know what I mean? What is it? We do raffle nights where you do a Xbox or a PS5, and you know what I mean. Everybody pays $1 for a raffle, and the winner of it goes, and all the money goes to, you know what I mean, the community. Start planting flowers, start planting crops, and you know what I mean, bringing clean water and stuff like that to the community. So maybe it takes a lot of that to start getting the community more embraced with each other and getting people to say, hey, let's stop it, because there's more things we can do for the community than we can do damage in the community. But it's, you know what I mean, it's gonna take a long time, a long process, but at least they are starting it and not trying to just ignore the issue. So shout out to Tommy G. Shout out to everybody from the Legacy. Shout out to everybody that's from the moms group that Kenny had set up. Shout out to everybody that does it. Shout out to Kenny. Shout out to the mom that was there. Rest in peace to your kids. Rest in peace to everybody who talked about rest in peace to everybody who had someone pass away. You know what I mean? Whether it's recently, whether it's 10 years ago. You know what I mean? Rest in peace to everybody that has someone that passed away that they love and care about and they still think about today. I know there's a lot of people out there that lost lives throughout the COVID, throughout, you know what I mean, everything that's going on. So, you know what I mean? Rest in peace, man. Pray over yourselves, pray over the loved ones that you guys have, man. And just stay blessed in everything you do. But shout out to Tommy G, man. Great video. Hey man, thank you for watching the video. If you like this video, man, like, comment, subscribe, and share a friend, share a big girlfriend. Let's grow the community up. I'm gonna put all my social down in the description down below. Sorry for my words, man. I appreciate y'all for watching the video. And let's check y'all out soon. Peace.
I put the new 4Gs on the G. I tap it till the letter bottoms underneath. That's how my homies got it out the street. I keep 100 racks inside my jeans. I remember hitting the mall with my hometown.